Whether it's smooth sailing in the economy or we're in the middle of a perfect financial storm, there is so much to consider when it comes to protecting your financial future. Inflation, volatile markets, we have national debt, high taxes, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm Alfie Townsend, Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional, and protecting and growing your nest egg is my business. Coming up on today's show,
Fortifying Against Recession, your customized retirement simulator, fighting inflation in retirement, and much more.
Welcome to Saving the Investor with certified financial planner, investment advisor, and insurance professional Alfie Townsend, president of Advantage Retirement Group. Alfie is a published author, radio show host, speaker, and industry leader.
why do you use an annuity? A lot of people use it for the wrong thing.
He works with retirees and pre-retirees to build and protect their nest egg and offers his experience to help those concerned about financial independence in retirement. If you've got questions about retirement, Saving the Investor starts now.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Saving the Investor. Great to have you with us here on NBC2 on this Sunday morning, alongside certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend. My name is Craig Wolf, and Alfie, great to be with you as usual.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about, to kick the show off, something that we've discussed a lot over the years that maybe hasn't come up a lot recently, and that's the topic of recession.
Yeah.
So let's do Recession 101 to start the show off. What defines a recession?
So recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP. Now, in 2023, technically, we had 2 negative quarters early on, but they didn't really count that because it was so almost flat.
Right.
So they didn't really count it as a recession. Some people were, some people.
So it can be down a fraction each time,
Yeah,
and it doesn't really have an impact of a recession.
Yeah, so typically what happens during a recession, you're going to have a lot of unemployment. Unemployment number, for unemployment is going to go through the roof, like 5 to 6, 8%. Okay, we didn't really have that in 2023. So job numbers were very good, but what a recession, I just want to talk about what happens in a recession. Usually the markets are 6 months before a recession, they're usually a little bit negative. But then during a recession, the average, if you go back from 1948, I believe, to 2020, the average S&P has made just under 4%. Now, if you go back, how long do they last? That's what I want to know. How long do they last? And typically, if you don't look at the Great Recession of 07 to 09, that was 18 months, but usually it's less than 6 months. But one good thing after a recession, the market takes off.
So how do you make money in a recession? I mean, it's
You
doable.
don't go, yes, you can definitely make money in a recession. You can do, we could do some structured notes, you could do some buffer ETFs, you could do some things that protect some downside, because you might have some downside. But again, the average is 3.81% up with the S&P 500. But then 1 year after a recession ends, that's where the S&P has averaged 20% a year for really the next 10 years. It's crazy how the S&P just jumps. That's when we say the S&P, that's an index. It's a broad index. There's 500 companies.
500 stocks.
Yeah, so you have the Dow Jones is only 30 companies, so you don't really want to base it on the Dow Jones. Everything is based on more of the S&P, which is the market, large cap market. So, but you can make money in there in a recession. So we talk about that because we don't want people to say, hey, we're in a recession, we need to sell everything, and you don't want to do that.
So generally speaking, what happens in the wake of a recession, after a recession?
Yeah, well, after a recession, the market has usually, unemployment starts to come back down because what the Feds are doing, they are starting to lower interest rates. So when you start to see lower interest rates, Fed's lowering to get the economy going, and that's when things all start humming again. So when you start seeing rates being lowered, that means that we're in a situation where the economy is slowing, so the Feds are trying to get it going.
And in terms of the effect of a recession on the stock market, the big market movers and shakers, they're thinking about that. They don't wake up one morning and go, we're going to have a recession tomorrow, so I'm going to sell. This is the idea is sort of baked in 6 months before, correct?
That's right. It's baked in. But what you always want to do is make sure that you are protected. You know, what companies, usually your value companies, your dividend paying companies would do better during a slowdown. But then your growth companies start to really do good when the Feds start to lower the rates. Once they start lowering the rates, then it's cheaper money for companies to borrow. So that's when things start to happen. And then again, unemployment will start to come down. But it's recession is not the worst thing, because one thing that the recession will do is inflation will go down fast.
So we should stop calling it the R word.
Yeah.
Which is very pejorative, and just say, you know, it's a normal cycle of life when it comes to the economy.
Absolutely, and it's not the end of the world.
All right.
Okay.
Good way to start the show this morning. Thank you, Alfie. If you'd like some more information on this topic or any others that they specialize here at the Advantage Retirement Group, be it taxes or Social Security or how to take care of your kids once you're gone, give Alfie a call. Meantime, there's much more to come on Saving the Investor. Stick around.
You are watching Saving the Investor, where your money matters.
Living in Southwest Florida, we're all way too familiar with storms. But what if the perfect financial storm hits while you're in retirement? Are you prepared? Well, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend has a new book out called Making Waves in Retirement. It breaks down the insights that Alfie's gained in his 4 decades of helping people just like you plan for retirement, featuring real stories about real people, illustrating what they've done wrong and what they've done right. Strategies to help retirees and those soon to be retired make the right decisions and avoid costly mistakes, whether it's battling inflation, navigating market volatility, or managing the threat of recession. These strategies may help you too. If you save for retirement, this book should be on your shelf. Get your complimentary copy today simply by being one of the first 5 callers. Call now for your free copy of Alfie's book, Making Waves in Retirement. Call 239-747-1080. You've protected your home when the storm is coming. Do the same with your hard-earned retirement dollars. Call now to get your free copy of Alfie's book, Making Waves in Retirement. 239-747-1080.
Good morning, everyone. This morning I want to start with our process that we use here at the Advantage Retirement Group called the Retirement Simulator. And how we named it, well, I have a great friend. His name is Captain Tom, and I've known him since into the 90s, early 90s. We used to really ride Harleys together. And he was a pilot with American Airlines, and every 9 months he had to go to Dallas and do a simulator with at that time he was flying the 757. By the time he retired, it was a 777. But every 9 months, these pilots have to go and see how, go into their planes that they fly and go into a simulator. And what they do in that simulator, I would say, what happens in there? And he says, well, they really make it hard on you. They'll change your flight pattern as you're exiting as you're moving back, about the takeoff. They're going to see how you land in zero visibility. If you had a bird strike, how the co-pilot and the captain is going to react. And after he told this story to me, I said, that's about what we do with our clients in a sense, because we have a process, and we named it the Retirement Simulator now because we put their portfolio through the test to see how it's going to react during volatile times. We're in a situation right now. We have inflation, we have rising interest rates, we have a recession looming. You just want to know what is going on inside your portfolio, how it's going to act. And what this does, it gives you a whole account of if you have long-term bonds, short-term bonds, how that's going to react. If you have international stock, if you're heavy in international, not enough in U.S. And so it lets us know what's going on inside your portfolio besides the fees. There's a lot of times people say, I don't pay any fees. Well, what this will do is find out what you're truly paying. So if you want to know what's going on inside your portfolio, this is a great process, especially times that we're going through right now. You need to be proactive instead of reactive. So I encourage everyone to give us a call, set up a time to come in and get your own retirement simulator to see how you will fare in good and bad times.
Ready to live your retirement dreams? Then it's time to meet Alfie, Southwest Florida's certified financial planner. Schedule your complimentary retirement income plan review now. Give Alfie a call, 239-747-1080. You are watching Saving the Investor, where your money matters.
Are you worried about inflation and how it's affecting your retirement?
Well, you're not alone. According to a recent study, 73% of Americans rank their finances as their number one stress in life.
But don't worry, there's help available. Alfie's free retirement toolkit can help you transform your worries into confidence.
Inside this toolkit, you'll find valuable resources like a guide to creating a retirement income plan, tips for saving for retirement, and strategies for protecting your retirement savings from inflation.
Plus, you'll get a copy of Alfie's new book, Making Waves in Retirement.
This free toolkit provides valuable insights like ways to transform your worries of retirement into confidence, ways to discover the weak points in your retirement plan, ways even small changes to your retirement plan can make a big difference, and how big your tax bill could be in retirement.
To get Alfie's free retirement toolkit, simply text the word KIT to 239-747-1080. That's KIT to 239-747-1080.
Don't wait and act now. This offer is only available for a limited time. Text KIT to 239-747-1080 today and start building a worry-free retirement.
I've been blessed to be in the financial industry for the past 40 years. And also having a show here in Southwest Florida, a TV show, a radio show, helping people with their finances. Now, we get questions all the time, and we are going to answer some of these questions right now.
How do you handle market volatility and downturns?
So market volatility, it's out there. You see it, it's happened, it's more and more each year, it seems like. And there's different ways to handle market volatility. There's ETFs out there right now that limits the downside that your account can go down to. So that's one option, how to really lower your risk on down markets. And there's some things out there that you can do to take income from something that's not going down. So volatility is always going to be there, but you want to make sure that your income is coming from something that is not going down with the market. And then you have two things working for you. You have your growth of your portfolio, and then you have income that's not going down. It could be a structured note, it could be a fixed annuity, but something that is not going down when the market volatility is going down, your portfolio gives it time to recoup a lot faster.
How do financial advisors get paid?
So we are a fee-based advisory group. That means that we get paid based on what we are managing. Now, the good thing about that is you're going to see what your fees are. A lot of times people say, well, my advisor doesn't charge a fee. Well, there is a fee. If you're not seeing what your fee is, that typically means that it is hidden inside your funds. And a lot of times that's going to be a whole lot more than what if you were able to see them. So we will dissect that for you and show you what their fees are. But I will tell you this, we are institutional pricing, so you're going to get some accounts that you're not going to be able to get, and a lot of times they're at institutional fees, which are a whole lot less than what retail would be.
Some of my stocks have really high capital gains. Is there some way I can offset those?
Yeah, not only reduce the costs on those gains, what you can do is get more diversified. So let's say if you're holding one stock, let's say it's an Apple, and you have this stock for many, many years, but you want to be a little bit more diversified than just having one stock. Well, there's something you can do. It's called direct indexing, and we can create losses at the same time grow the money inside this index. So in the future, what will happen is you can offset when you start to sell your Apple to buy into, let's say, the S&P index. You will have some loss carryover that can help absorb some of your taxes when you sell that Apple stock. It's a great thing to do. It's something good to look at. We'll see if this is right for you.
Ready to live your retirement dreams? Then it's time to meet Alfie, Southwest Florida's certified financial planner. Schedule your complimentary retirement income plan review now. Give Alfie a call, 239-747-1080. You are watching Saving the Investor, where your money matters.
Maybe you remember the old TV commercial, "Pay me now or pay me later." Consider this. We are actually in the lowest tax bracket in the past 30 years. But these rates may not last for long. And where they may be headed could put a dent in your retirements. But there are things you can do now to reduce your future tax debt and make informed decisions about your retirement. Certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend has a great free resource here at the Advantage Retirement Group. Just go to savingtheinvestor.com and you can generate a quick report that can help you evaluate your potential tax bill in retirement. And it takes less than a minute. If what you've learned surprises you, it's time to talk to Alfie. There may be ways that he can help improve those numbers so that you can keep more of the money that you've worked so hard to save. Paying your fair share is one thing, but who wants to pay even a penny more? Protect your financial future, find out if your retirement tax bill could be too big, and you can do it by visiting savingtheinvestor.com or using the QR code on your screen right now.
Welcome to another segment of Team Talk. I'm Mary Thompson in studio with Alfie Townsend, our founder and president. Alfie, in your book, Making Waves in Retirement, you address a lot of topics, and one that I think we're all very concerned about right now is inflation.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. How do you help our clients be protected from the effect of inflation?
So inflation is very important to, we really, for years and years, we have not had to worry about inflation, but over the last couple of years, it's been there. And it, even though inflation numbers are coming down, it's still expensive to go to the grocery store. And people talk about it all the time. Gas prices have come down, yes, but it's not where it was. And food prices, if you just you go to the restaurants, you can just tell going out to restaurants how much you are spending. I would say is at least 20% more. Okay, so what you have to do with inflation is you have to have a plan that tackles inflation, and it's not going to be buying a CD, because a CD, if you notice, the good rates are the short rates because they know they're going to go down. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they're not really giving you a good rate for a long term. So you have to really look ahead and not just be content with what a little CD is going to give you, a 3-month CD, 6-month CD. You need to have bigger goals and know that you have to make more than what inflation is, mm-hmm. and then some. So you got to keep ahead of inflation. Know that our structured notes did a great job during inflation because it was paying 2% and 3%, sometimes 4% over and above what inflation is. Mm-hmm. So that's your goal. Our goal is to pay more than get you more than inflation, so your money is growing and staying ahead and be able to really put money aside.
Right. And when it comes to income planning, you just mentioned structured notes. Let's talk about that just a moment, because I think people are very intrigued and want to know what is a structured note and how does that provide income? Yeah,
so structured notes have been very instrumental for our clients for income, because you can put IRA money in there or you can put after-tax dollar money in there like savings. And if you're looking for income, a structured note might be a great vehicle for you. It sits with a financial institution. We look at the top 3 of them that we deal with, and we use them because of safety, and we use them to really compete against each other. Because we're sending them millions of dollars and they're bidding for our money, our clients' money, to be able to give them a better rate. So we're able to get good rates and knock the middle person out. There's no middleman in here. We go right to the institution. And what they're going to do is they're going to keep it simple, they're going to buy options with part of that money on the S&P and NASDAQ. So they're looking at the S&P and NASDAQ from the date that you get in. And these notes are typically 8 to 10%. I can't give you the exact rate because they do vary every day.
Right.
They're different every day, but once you get in, you're locked in. Now you're going to be locked in for 21 months, okay? But we also put a feature in there, because if we didn't put this feature in there, we can get you a lot more interest, but then they can call the note anytime.
Sure.
And you've seen where people might have had some bonds before where they get called. Well, we put in there a no call for 12 months. So you know you're going to get this interest for 12 months. And then after 12 months, they could call them. I would say 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of the 10 times that we've written them, they get called. And after they get called, that means they give you your last interest payment and all your money back. Okay? And then we can do another note. But if they don't call it, you would have this interest for another 9 months. So it's a way to really get income, and it gets deposited right in your checking account, and our clients have been loving that.
Yeah, a great way to fight inflation.
Oh, it's a great way to fight inflation.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Alfie. And if you'd like to get a copy of Alfie's latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, that addresses topics like we were talking about just now, how to get ahead of inflation, give us a call.
Ready to live your retirement dreams? Then it's time to meet Alfie, Southwest Florida's certified financial planner. Schedule your complimentary retirement income plan review now. You are watching Saving the Investor, where your money matters.
Are you ready to take control of your retirement and create a sound financial future? The first step is simple. Be one of the first 7 callers right now and schedule your complimentary, no risk, no obligation retirement review with Alfie and his concierge team. When you visit Alfie's office, you'll sit down and discuss your unique goals and concerns. Alfie and his team don't just talk about financial planning, they craft personalized solutions. On your first visit, you can also expect expert analysis of your current situation, risk mitigation techniques, and tax-saving strategies. And that's just for starters. In the world of financial planning, experience matters. With more than 40 years of experience, Alfie understands the needs of those who are soon to be or already retired, from investment allocation to income planning, tax strategies, and estate planning. Your retirement success plan awaits simply by taking advantage of Alfie's complimentary, no risk, no obligation retirement review. Be one of the first 7 callers right now at 239-747-1080. That's 239-747-1080. Call now. Your future financial self will thank you.
Welcome back. And this is Knowledge is Power. This is one of my favorite, really, topics that we talk about. And I'm here with one of our top advisors here, David Antonucci. And David, a lot of people come in and we ask them, what's your risk number? You know, how did your other advisor find out what your risk number is? They said, pick a number between 1 and 10. And remember our client, that was so funny. It was a doctor and his wife. And I said, you know, how did they find out what your risk tolerance is? And he said, well, they told us to pick a number between 1 and 10. I said, what'd you pick? He said 7. I said, what does that mean? He looked at his wife, remember, and he just started, they were laughing like little kids because they didn't know what it means. So tell the audience a little bit about how we go a little bit more in depth of finding out what your risk is.
So risk tolerance is very important. Okay? And when the market is going up and down with volatility, risk tolerance is something that you need to know and you need to feel comfortable with. And you're not going to be rattled by those ups and downs if you're confident in your risk tolerance. And we build a plan exclusively around your risk. So one thing that we do, we have a proprietary software that we're able to put together and do a questionnaire And this questionnaire was actually put together by a team of psychologists. So
That right there's different.
yes, very different. So
it makes you really, the thing about it, I don't mean to interrupt you, David,
No, go
but
ahead.
it makes them think, because it gives them options, either A or B. Do I want to take the risk or do I want to take the certainty? So it makes them think about it than just say, oh, I'm a 5, I'm a moderate. Well, that person might be really a 7, but he or she picked 5 because they think 5 was the right one, but then they put them in the wrong portfolio because they did not really do it emotionally. And this is an emotional based test, and I love it. Go ahead, talk more about that.
And like you said, we just have a lot of people come in where we analyze, we put it through the retirement simulator, and their portfolio is a risk of maybe an 80, right, which is a high risk, and their risk number after doing the questionnaire comes out to maybe a 40, and they're in the wrong risk, and they don't even know it.
Those are the ones that would panic when the market goes down, they sell, and they miss all the up. So they lost money, and they locked in their losses, and they didn't get back in until it went back up again, so they lost those gains. So it's a very important thing. And the other thing too I want to say is people's risk changes. And every year when we do, we're going to do meetings, throughout the year, but our annual one is we want to reassess their risks and make sure they're in the right portfolio, because what's good this year might not be good next year for you because of circumstances. So we want to always update that risk. So if you haven't really done a good risk assessment of what your risk tolerance is, give us a call and let us really show you what we do here at the Advanced Retirement Group.
You are watching Saving the Investor, where your money matters.
Retirement gives you long-awaited opportunities. You finally gain control over how you spend your time. But you also need control of your investments, of your hard-earned money. There are a lot of moving parts, and just saving over the years is the first part. What about generating income, your Social Security, minimizing taxes, or managing risk? If you save for retirement, call us at 239-747-1080. Retirement can last more than 20 years, yet many people don't have enough money saved to get through 1 decade, let alone 2. Call us at 239-747-1080. Let us show you how to make your nest egg go the distance. That's 239-747-1080.
Mondo Uomo offers a remarkable selection of the latest styles in menswear. Visit Mondo Uomo at the Village on Venetian Bay in Naples, Alberto, Bugacci, St. Croix, Zanella. Come see what remarkable shopping is all about.
Remember the Wall Street bailouts? Those same big banks and financial firms have been fined billions for misleading customers. And now they want to manage your retirement savings. Why would you trust them? I'm Alfie Townsend, Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional. My values are Main Street, not Wall Street. As an independent advisor, I don't work for shareholders, I work for you. If you want a fresh start with a local advisor, give me a call today.